You know what this is giving me? It's giving me, you hang up. No, 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 you hang up. You hang up. You hang up. No, you click. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. And I'm here with you today to talk about, or to read rather, the second part of Gypsy Rose's emails with Nick before the incident with her mother. I want to thank everyone for their comments, views, and subscriptions following that first video. I really appreciate it, guys. It keeps me going and it lets me know that you're enjoying the content. Now, I, in 2024, have stumbled upon and got COVID-19. A little late for that, aren't we? But, yeah, so I'm doing this video with COVID. I've been down, but I feel like, why not get up and make a video? I've been like 5 days in the thick of it, so let's do this video. Continuing messages from June 2nd, and we might go a little bit further, a few more days of this material, because we will be stopping and analyzing it. I may not finish all the text today, but I do want to give a good analysis. So let's get into reading these text messages. Let's go. Okay, so here is Tuesday, June 2nd. Now, Gypsy starts off the day, top of the freaking morning, by saying, I'm 100,000% in, hun. All right. I'm ready, truly. Defendant. Nicholas Godejohn says, why do you say that, baby? Gypsy says, because I finally allowed myself to accept you're my everything. I will go with you and live our dreams. So Gypsy is giving Nick this fairy tale belief that once you do this for me, or once we do this with my mother, you're my everything, and I'm just going to go live with you, and we're going to live happily ever after. So that's why I'm in, because I want to be with you. Like, there was no other way for her to be with him unless he did this thing, right? Nick says, okay, hun. Gypsy says, darling, I am so sorry about last night. I'm completely different. I'm your woman. Nick says, okay, dear. Gypsy says, and I will truly be your everything. I know I've been up and down, but darling, in 9 days, they even had a date picked out. How sinister is that? If there's no more premeditated than that, in 9 days, I am yours forever. Nick then says, true, hun. True, baby. And Gypsy says, and yes, I'm going to fight like hell for us, baby. Do you forgive me, darling? So when she got into that interrogation room with that police officer, did she fight like hell for them, baby? Nick says, baby, you have a couple questions to answer online. Gypsy says, please read, hun. Nick says, okay, dear. Gypsy says, BTW, I trashed my old show, broken laptop. Not sure what that means. So we can just use one computer together, hun. Nick says, dear, I answered you. And what about all of the memories of us on the computer, sweetie? Gypsy says, I saved them, but you. You don't get it, do you? Never mind. Whoa. Hey, whoa. What happened? What the What did Gypsy, all right. And even Nick, with Nick having Asperger's, as I've read, and Nick seems to be the more sane of the two in the conversations messaging back and forth, because he says, dear, what the heck? You're just sitting here talking about how you're going to live this fairy tale life with me, and then you just go off, right? Gypsy says, I tried being there for you. All you do is make me cry. I give everything for you. Nick says, I was trying to be nice while explaining myself. Then you say that. Dear, that was uncalled for. Truthfully. Explaining. Gypsy says, I always put my best. And you say 90%. Bullshit. Okay, they must have had another conversation outside of what we can see here in these text messages, because we know that they have the phone conversations here, and we also know that they have the online Facebook, which I don't have access to. I don't think anybody actually has access to those. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nick says, baby, I don't only make you cry. I've given you plenty of happy memories. Gypsy says, who puts up with your overbearing ways and your ridiculous political shit? Oh, what political party was he affiliated with? I'm just curious. I'm not going to pass any judgment on this video, but I do have some shorts coming out. If you guys want to look at my shorts to see kind of like what side I'm on, it should be really obvious. But anyway, defendant says, dear, I'm not trying to argue with you, so please stop. Gypsy says, I was in a romantic mood, and now you screwed that to hell. Nick says, well, I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone. All you do is push me away. Gypsy says, sadly, 10 minutes ago, all I wanted to do was snuggle with you. Nick says, dear, just stop talking to me. You're only making things worse, since apparently now I know I can't open up to you just because of that. You keep bitching. Oh. Gypsy says, I opened up. I was what you wanted, and you pushed me away. Nick said, yeah, you told me to F off. I guess I'll punching bag. Gypsy then says, why couldn't you have just been loving? Gypsy says, in the same minute, Gypsy says, I'm sorry, hun. Look, please don't fight. Just try to understand. I was saying how much I need you, and you basically called me a faker. This conversation gives me middle school, first puppy dog relationship. It gives me that. It gives me 2009 AIM vibes, 2007 AIM vibes. I was having conversations like tit for tat with, oh, she likes that boy, or he likes that girl, or she likes that girl. And I was having these conversations and these messy type of interactions like this in probably 6th, 7th, and 8th grade on Kick and AIM. So they're 24 years old, right? Going back and forth like this. So Nick says, I didn't push you away. All I did was explain, and you told me off. If that is how you feel, then I guess I can't make you happy anymore. Sorry, I'm a failure to you. Gypsy says, can we please talk online? Please, we're going to be living together soon. Shouldn't we at least try and make this work? Gypsy says, you are safe from me now. I did the right thing. Nick says, dear, I hope you come back. Gypsy says, you are free, sweetie. You don't have a bitch of a girl now. Whoa. Nick says, free. Yes, free to die. Bye, my love. Gypsy says, daddy, daddy crying. What do you mean, question mark? My love? Nicholas, answer me. Nicholas says, sweetie, Bella doesn't come back. I don't want anyone else, so I'll end it. My darling daughter, just know that daddy always worshipped you. Gypsy says, and what? I don't understand, daddy. Nick says, I'm gone. Bye, my everything. I'll miss you all in time to end it all. Gypsy says, wait, daddy, wait. Please end us. You mean you won't be mine anymore? Nick says, what does my daughter want before I go to hell? This is tough to read here. Gypsy says, I want you to stay with me. You said you was coming to get me. Nick says, Bella doesn't want me, so no one will have me but her. So I'll go to hell then, if I can't have her. Gypsy says, she does want you. She needs you. You've had lots of GFs. You're handsome. Nick then responds, I'm done. Bye, my love. You say you need me, but you broke us off. So I cut myself off. If you don't stop me in time, because without you, I'm nothing. Gypsy says, are you threatening to kill yourself? You can't. Nick says, why? Gypsy says, because if you do, then I will as well. Nick says, then come back to me before I do it. Because you know I always back up my words. Gypsy says, please, please don't do it, my love. Please, please. I want you, I do, but I'm bad for you. Stay with me, please. So, this is where Gypsy was talking about how Nick said that he would kill himself if Gypsy left him. But Gypsy says in the interrogation video that we reviewed, go check that video out, that Nick said that he would end himself if they didn't do that to her mom. That's not what he's saying here. I feel like he's more of wanting to end himself if they're not together in the end, okay? Gypsy says, I'm here, my love, I'm back. Gypsy says, look, I'm going on Facebook now. And then Nick says, then I'll put the blade away for now. Nick says, you better get online if you mean what you were saying. And this is like 4 o'clock in the morning, guys. This is like wee hours of the morning. They're dealing with this traumatic, trauma-bonded, mental health-infused relationship that nobody else can see into. So I feel like if Dee Dee was so overbearing, then she would have known about some of this. If she was that overbearing. Gypsy says, huge kiss for the one I missed. Nicholas says, okay, dear. Nicholas says, sweetie, I hope you are on soon because I'm missing you. Gypsy says, darling, I'm missing you too. Just let me take a small nap, okay, baby? XOXOX. Nick says, okay, sweetie. Sweet dreams, my darling. Gypsy then says, darling, I'm on now, but read a message sent to on our joint account. Gypsy says, it's your cousin. He wants to go fishing. Nick says, okay, sweetie. So the wild transition of, I love you, I hate you, I don't want to be with you, I want to be with you, I want to be with you, I don't want to be with you, I hate you, I love you. It's just so confusing in this context because we only have some of the messages, but it's just a train wreck. It looks like a train wreck to me. So we get to June 3rd. Gypsy starts off the day by saying, hi, darling, I'm sorry I fell asleep last night without telling you goodnight. Nick says, it's all right, hun. Nick says, I've noticed, though, you're on a lot less often than you used to be, dear. Gypsy says, I explained, hun. Gypsy says, I'm on right now, baby. Nick says, okay, sweetie. The next day, they didn't text much that day. Nick says, Gypsy says, sending hugs and kisses. Nick says, thanks, sweetie. Gypsy says, good afternoon, darling. Nick says, good afternoon, sweetie. Ugh. Gypsy says, oh my. It just goes so far, like it goes so far-fetched. I don't like reading. I feel like I'm eavesdropping a little bit. You know, when you go through people's texts, you might see all kinds of stuff. But like, wow, okay. Oh my God, I had so many sex dreams of you last night. Defendant says, all different kinds, dear. Gypsy says, yes, darling. Nick says, okay, sweetie. Gypsy says, warning, I'm in a very sexual mood. Nick says, honey, you can be in a top-notch sexual mood throughout our life together and it wouldn't bother me. Gypsy says, good, darling, you're going to need the energy. Nick says, why do you say that, baby? Gypsy says, you pick it, hun. Message for you. Nick says, babe, I'm already on. Nick says, I had to restart my computer, dear. Gypsy, okay, darling. The next day. Gypsy says, darling, what color restraints do you want? Black or pink? Nick says, dear, we're collecting them, but get black, sweetie. Why would he want pink? Let me not go too deep into that. Gypsy said, okay, darling. The next day, Gypsy says, honey, I was wondering, say I wanted to have sex with a guy before leaving town. Could I? It's just a curious question. Okay, so I know you're territorial, but I'm being tempted sexually. Is this by Dan? I don't know much about Dan, but I'm going to get to learn about him. Is this by Dan? And then she comes back to say, darling, can we talk online, please? I'm guessing you're napping. And then she says, I thought you wasn't getting my text, hun. Nick says, I was, but I didn't hear them, dear, since my phone was on vibrate. Gypsy says he agreed to meet up. We're going to get coffee at this cupcake place Thursday, so that will close that. It's a public place, so it's all good, hun. Nick says, dear, still, I told I'll be around the area of it to make sure he don't do anything, and you have to accept that. Gypsy says, okay, darling. Gypsy says, what time does our bus leave Thursday, hun? Planned. Premeditation, okay? Nick says, 6:13 p.m., dear. Okay, I may be off a few minutes, darling. Gypsy says, okay, hun, I found the flogger. What is a flogger? What's a flogger? I am terrified. Hold on 1 second. We will stop this. Okay. Oh, right. Never mind. I know what that is. Okay. Oh, yeah. I know what that is. I've seen that before. Yeah, okay. Nick says, that's good news. Gypsy says, I miss you, hun. My heart is racing. Gypsy says, I miss you, hun. My heart is racing. Did she send these twice or did they paste them twice, dear? She sent them twice? They're put into evidence twice? Nick says, why is your heart racing? Gypsy says, because I can't wait to see you. And then Nick says, then we feel mutual, dear. Gypsy says, darling, I have an important message. Nick says, okay, baby. So my take is that they are planning to be this normal couple with normal issues, intimacy, and things on the text. And then on Facebook, they handle the most of their divisive planning. Sunday. Gypsy says, darling, I was caught on my phone, but made my mom think I was during her phone. I don't know what that means. During? What does this word here, during, mean? Okay. Gypsy says, so I have to lay low until Wednesday. Nick says, okay, dear. You can try to text me when you can. Gypsy says, okay, baby. We can talk on Skype, hun. Gypsy says, please. Nick says, okay, baby. Monday. Nick starts off the morning by saying, sweetheart, just wanted to say that I'm missing you and that I also love, adore, and worship you, my everything. Gypsy says, darling, I'm so sorry I didn't say goodnight. I was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs. I peed in the bushes. It's been rough. Darling, I'm not even sure of the password. If it's not Angel Heart, it would be Gypsy Rose or one Gypsy Rose. The good thing is that if you forgot it, at least have your confirmation down and the card it was purchased with, hun. They can look it up. Nick says, okay, let's step back to a second here. She says she was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs. She peed in the bushes. It's been rough. So I sense that this night here, which is the night of June 7th, when she was caught on the phone, and her mom was caught. So Dee Dee caught her on the 7th with the phone. There was some type of altercation. We don't know what was said, but it led to Dee Dee saying, get out of my house, right? we know it led to Dee Dee saying, "Get out of my house," because she said she was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs. And she peed in the bushes. So if you're sleeping on the front porch, you're no longer a resident of the house. You're no longer sleeping in the house. So I would concur, in my unfiltered opinion, the night before, when the phone was being used, Dee Dee said, "Get out of my house." And Gypsy went on the front porch and was using that as shelter. She said, "Get out of her house." You could have just left, honey. You could have just got out. She already was telling you she was done, right? So, and then Nick says, "Okay, baby, I was hoping you would have said our sacred words, but thanks for your help, hon." Gypsy says, "WYM love. I will text you, hon." Nick says, "Okay, dear." Gypsy says, "I love and adore and worship you, my everything." Nick says, "I love, adore, and worship you too, my everything times infinity." Aww. You know what this is giving me? It's giving me, "You hang up. No, you 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 hang up. You hang up. You hang up. No, you click." I can't take it. You know what this is giving me? It's giving me, "You hang up. No, you 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 hang up. You hang up. You hang up. No, you click." I love how as kids we had enough time to debate about who was hanging up, right? "Oh, you, oh, you, oh, you, oh, you, I love you more, I love you more." When you're an adult, it's like, "Okay, I'll talk to you later, babe." People got shit to do. Okay. Okay. Nick says, "Baby, I called the cab company and everything's going well." Gypsy says, "Okay, sweetie, good." Gypsy says, "I just ate, feel a lot better now." Nick says, "Good, honey." Gypsy says, "I can't believe you was able to go. Your mom is okay with it?" Nick says, "Dear, don't matter if she is okay with it or not. I'm my own man, honey." Gypsy says, "I know, sweetie. If she knows you're escorting me back with you, it should be fine, hon." Gypsy, escorting me back in this context looks a little shady. I know what you're meaning, like bringing you back, but no, baby. No, escorting me looks, yeah. Okay. Nick says, "She'll know within time, honey." Gypsy says, "Okay, darling, you have lots of guts." Ugh. Bad word choice. Nick says, "I told you already, dear. Nothing is keeping us from being together." And I meant that when I said that. Gypsy says, "So do I." Heart. "Okay, sweetie, text me soon to give me an update." Nick says, "Will do, my love." "Dear, my stepdad is taking me to the bus station instead." Gypsy says, "Okay, sweetie." Nick says, "Dear, look at your email. I need to know the reference number." Gypsy says, 569-28685. Nick says, "Thanks, sweetheart. Heart." Gypsy says, "I got your back, hun. YW. Nick says, "I got your back too. Update. I'm at the bus station, waiting for my time to get on the bus." Gypsy then says, "Is it all good? You got the tickets, hun?" I'm not sponsored by Mio. It's just so damn good. Liquids to a person with COVID is like a drying out flower, an arid desert, an arid cactus you just pour water on. Nick says, "Dear, please go with the story I told my mom and stepdad." "Yes, dear." Gypsy says, "Please let me know what story." Nick says, "I'll tell you in person, dear, because I'll be able to explain it better then." Gypsy says, "Okay, darling. I'm not saying a word on Facebook to anyone. The lie detector test determined that was a lie." Defendant says, "That's good, darling." Gypsy says, "Making up a song percentage on the road to destiny. La 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 percentage." Disassociating, delusional, right? And even Nick says, "Interesting, dear." Gypsy says, "I've been on a bus from Highness Port to Boston. I enjoyed it. Nick again says, interesting, hun. Gypsy says, is Big Ben a safe place to live, hun? Defendant says, darling, you almost never hear of crime in Big Bend. Gypsy says, that's wonderful. Nick says, yes, baby. Gypsy says, you might think I'm spoiled by how my room looks. A closet full of name brand clothes. Well, I saw the pictures. I saw the pictures of Gypsy and Dee Dee's house. It was very hoarded. Like, there was stuff on every inch, square foot of that home. So you could tell they weren't living or taking care of themselves. Dee Dee could barely take care of herself, let alone Gypsy, so. And Nick says, I already know you're spoiled, hun. Gypsy says, LOL. Nick says, I know that would make you laugh, dear. Gypsy says, my heart is like boom, boom, boom. I don't think it knows how to be calm when you're going to be with me. Nick says, that's a good thing, dear. Gypsy says, darling, I'm going to go to the ER, get my tube changed. I'll be off the phone for a few hours. Nick says, okay, hun, be safe. Gypsy says, you too, sweetheart. Nick says, all right, darling. Nick says, update, dear, I'm on the bus to Chicago. Update, darling, I'm on my way to St. Louis. Update, dear, I'm on the bus station of Champaign, Illinois. Hope to be in St. Louis soon. Gypsy says, darling, I'm home. Nick says, that's good, dear. I'm glad you made it. Gypsy said it was a 6-hour wait in the ER. Nick says, wow. Gypsy says, at least it's done, so we're good for a year. Gypsy says, it can be done even by me, but I won't unless I have to. I missed you, baby. Nick says, I missed you too, sweetheart. Nick says, honey, sorry I didn't answer right away. I didn't feel it vibrate, dear. Nick says, dear, I guess you're either busy or not online anymore. I guess you aren't able to keep me company right now. I hope you're back soon because I'm already missing you, hun. Gypsy says, hi, sweetie, I'm here. I just ate and took a bath, hun. Gypsy said, are you listening to your iPod, hun? Nick said, yay, I'm glad you are. Gypsy said, LOL. Nick says, okay, baby, just waiting for texts from you and paying attention to my surroundings. Gypsy says, okay, sweetheart, well, I was able to make peace with Mom. Nick says, I knew you would. I believed in you, that you could do it in the full time, dear. Gypsy says, I feel better. I just can't believe you're like in Missouri, and it's so overwhelming in a good way. Nick says, I hope in a good way, hun. Gypsy says, yes, darling, in a great way. I feel so excited. Nick says, I'm glad we feel mutually about the situation, darling. Gypsy says, tomorrow is the last night we sleep alone. Wrong. Now he sleeps alone for the rest of his life. Nick says, true, baby. However, I'm going to pay for the night separately. Gypsy says, okay, hun. Nick says, so the night you come to the hotel is another separate night from tomorrow, dear. Nick says, darling, you know I'm trying to save as much money as I can. Gypsy says, I know, baby, and you don't need to pay for me to sleep at the hotel. I will sneak with you. Nick says, I know, dear, that's what I plan on doing. Gypsy says, good, hun. Nick says, dear, don't deny it. You even knew what I was planning on doing. Gypsy says, well, yeah, I'm your gal. Bring me back to your hotel, wink, wink. Defendant says, with pleasure, my dear. Guess you are busy, hun. I guess you aren't able to keep me company right now again. Gypsy says, bites lip, squeaks. And then Gypsy says, I'm back, hun. Defendant says, LOL, nice way to come back, sweetie. Now, I want to stop there because I feel like the next set of text messages are going to get us into those critical text messages, those incriminating text messages that we really want to see. What did we cover in this round of text messaging? We did cover premeditation in the terms of I'm 100,000% ready, in the bus tickets, the reference numbers being stated back and forth, the updating of location by Godejohn, the love bombing, the back and forth trauma bonding, the mental health issues that both individuals faced that kind of led them to a point that thinking that this would remotely work or this would remotely be something that they could get away with. So I'm really excited to delve into Tuesday down so you guys can analyze with me and put your comments down below about what you think when it comes to motive, intent, and all these things. We know what we know, but this Gypsy Rose rabbit hole has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger ever since she's gotten out of prison. So guys, I do want us to continue to explore that and use our creative brains and our unfiltered brains and think about what happened about 9 years ago at this time. For everyone who's following me, I thank you so much for the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, the shares, all of those things. I appreciate it greatly, greatly, greatly. Thank you so, so much. And if there's anything you want to see on this channel, let me know in the comments down below. I will take all of your ideas into consideration. With that being said, after I finish the last video here, we will go ahead and segue back into our A to Z scandals. We are on J, and it deals with a celebrity. That's all I can give you guys for right now. But thank you guys so much for being so patient. Lindsay, Unfiltered, appreciate you for being so patient and appreciate you for sticking around. And hopefully next time I come on camera, my voice will have cleared up, from the COVID bout I got. But guys, thank you so much, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye now.